subscribe to your YouTube.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Mrs. B Reads. We are working on Dusty Bowling's book, The Canyon's Edge, and this is my period 1 class. Hi. Aren't they cute? So we are getting into part 2 of this book. Now, things change in part 2. Look at it. Look at it. Look on your PDF there. What do you notice? What looks different about that? There's less words, one of my kids just said. Yeah, so part 2 is written in free verse. It's going to go really quick, and it's full of a lot of figurative language. It's going to make a lot of pictures in your head, okay? So here we go. Black water. An enormous wall of black water heads straight for us. It carries all the desert, uprooted ironwoods, ocotillo wands, hola balls, animals, rock, mud, and what? Death. 8 seconds. 8 seconds, I am frozen again in fear. 7 seconds, Dad screams at me to climb. 6 seconds, I reach for my backpack, but he grabs me, the strap slipping from my fingers. 5 seconds, Dad throws me on top of the outcropping where I lay a few minutes ago. 4, I search for anything I can hang on to, a crack, a small indent in the wall, an embedded rock. 3, Dad pulls himself on top of the outcropping as I struggle to climb the wall. 2, Dad pushes me up to where I find a foothold above his head. 1, Dad grabs a crack in the wall while I grip the same vertical crack above him and brace myself. Hitting. The water hits like a train. What figure of speech is that when we use like? Brandon?
It hits really hard.
Yep. What figure of speech is it?
Metaphor?
It's a simile. When we use like or as to compare two unlike things, it's a simile. The water hits like a train. I grip the wall, not wanting to fall and get crushed underneath its wheels. The wall rises as quickly as the bile shooting up my throat. There's another simile. Sweeps away my backpack and every supply. I look for more footholds, climb higher, and slip and nearly plunge down into the foaming water. I grip any hold I can find with my trembling fingers in my panic to get away from the water, splashing me, spraying in my mouth, covering my tongue with its salt, more like the ocean than a river. Do you know what's happening here? Do you know what's going on? What is going on? Why is there an ocean and a river in the desert? What is happening, Angel?
Kind of like a flood.
It is a flood. What kind of flood? Do you know?
No.
Nolan? It's just that powerful, as though a dam burst. Yep. Anybody else? Got any guesses? Kylie?
Maybe it's like you know when a place has a drought for a long time and then they just get a bunch of water out of nowhere. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, so it's a flash flood. And what I need to tell you is that the author herself, Dusty Bowling, went hiking in the Southwest, which is where she's from. Had a lovely day with her family. The following week, another family was hiking in the same canyon, and a flash flood came along and swept away 9 members of the other family. They perished. And she was so moved by that, she saw that story in the news, that she wrote this book. So they're in the middle of a flash flood. 2, page 39 in the book. Dad clings to the crack below me, the water now flowing over his legs, stronger than the force of gravity, moving in the wrong direction, doing everything in its power to break him free of the wall. I look down at his tense red face, clenched teeth, white knuckles, straining to hold on. He can't. He doesn't have the strength. I'm going to lose him, too. Who else has she lost? The mom. The last thing. I love you, and I'm sorry, and hold on, are the last things he says to me, though I barely hear the words over the screeching, screaming in my mind, over the roaring, rushing black water, which finally accomplishes its goal of tearing him away from the wall. He's carried away, lying on his back, floating on his backpack, hands folded over his chest, trying not to drown, trying to flow with the water. I watch him until he disappears. I didn't have time to say I love you too. The last thing I said to my dad was, what? Say it. I hate you. Living water. I've seen rivers and ponds form instantly when heavy monsoons dump inches of water on the desert in seconds. I've seen flash floods before, but I've never seen one like this. The waters churn and turn and roil and boil and swirl and whirl and foam and form into dizzying whirlpools, then dissolve. That is a shape poem, where the words are about what the shape of the poem is. Does that make sense? Okay. There's one up on the board there. See it? I wrote that with last period's class. It's in the shape of a heart, and it's all words about the heart, about love. And then the inside says love is love is love is love is love is love is love. Okay. That's a shape poem. I have to remind myself the water's not alive. It won't reach up with slender flowing fingers and take me, pry me, snatch me from this wall, suck me down into its violently whirling, tirelessly turbulent mouth. The fear, the anxiety controls me, is in every part of me as I cling to this wall of stone. What do you fear, Eleanor? Why are those words written in italics? Kieran. Yes, she's thinking. When we see words in italics, it means the character's thinking. What do you fear, Eleanor? Dying. Are you likely to die in this situation? Yes. Do you remember we saw those words earlier in the book? But the answer to the question was no then. Remember, are you likely to die in this situation? No. But now, it's yes. She's in a life or death situation. Waiting. The water arrived like a tsunami, but it leaves like bathwater trickling down a hair-clogged drain. That's a simile. I hug the wall, every muscle tense and aching, my body one big ball of pain. I wait and wait and wait as the water slowly, painfully lowers, getting drunk by the eternally thirsty ground. I will it to drink faster before I fall. I wait for seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years. Is she really waiting that long? Do you know what that's called when you over-exaggerate? It's a figure of speech. Do you know what it's called? Do you know? Close. It's hyperbole. When we over-exaggerate. It looks like hyperbole, but it's hyperbole. Good. My muscles shake with fatigue. My vision blurs with tears. My heart pounds with the full force of having to watch both my parents torn apart. Shame. Self-condemnation from unprocessed guilt and shame is never helpful. What is that an example of?
Internal conflict.
It is internal conflict. Very good. What else is it?
Character versus self.
It's character versus self. Awesome. Look at the way it's written. How is it written? It's written in the form of a what? Please say it. Please say it. Please say it. Yes.
Wait.
It's on the tip of your tongue. I can see it there. Yeah.
Is it, I forgot what it was
Oh,
called.
come on. We wrote them. Remember the syllables. Haiku. It's a haiku. It's a haiku. Okay. Self-condemnation from unprocessed guilt and shame is never helpful. 575 syllables. And it's internal conflict. And it's character versus self. Dad's height. By the time the canyon is gray, the water is finally low enough for me to drop onto the outcropping. I look down through a curtain of sweaty, damp hair, already wishing I hadn't taken out my ponytail, and see the rock, the waters just beneath it, now flowing at a stroll rather than a sprint. It's about 6 feet down, Dad's height, because that's how high he could lift me. The pain and pressure in my chest grow as if someone is punching my heart. I have to climb down, but I know before I even begin it's impossible. Climbing down is nothing like climbing up. Plus, I have boots on, and the wall below me is wet. I don't have any choice. I can't hang on to this wall another minute, and I don't have the strength to climb up out of this canyon. My heart pounds hard enough to send tremors through my body. make my fingers, hands, and arms shudder. Lowering one unsteady boot for a foothold below me, I cry because I know I'm about to fall. Slipping. My boot slips, my fingers, hands, and arms too weak to hang on, sliding down the wall, slowing my fall with friction, sanding skin off my palms, forearms, and knees. My body so filled with adrenaline I don't yet feel the pain. Have you ever skinned yourself falling off a bike or roller skating when you fall on the concrete, running at recess? Ouch. I hit the outcropping boots first, and my feet slip out from under me. My right hip, ribs, arms slam against the rocky ledge, my teeth knocking together, biting my tongue. I slide into the water, frantically grasp the crack in the rock and stop myself. Half my body in the water, which is trying to pull me from the ledge. I drag myself out, my mouth filling with blood, lie on my side and pull my legs up to my chest. And now the pain comes. It radiates over my torn skin like a fire, barrels into my battered bones like a fighter. Blood drips from my hands and knees and mouth onto the rock. It spreads like watercolors on the wet stone. Simile. The second time. I've lost my backpack, hoodie, hair tie, helmet, harness, gloves, food, water, last person in my life. I have nothing left except my life. That's the second time in a single year one of my parents put my life before theirs. What do we know happened to the mom?
She got shot.
She was shot. But this tells us a little bit more now, doesn't it? What does this indicate to us? That's the second time in a single year one of my parents put my life before theirs. What does that indicate, Evan?
That the mom sacrificed her life.
The mom sacrificed her life to save Nora. Good job. Sinking. The canyon is dimming. I need to get moving before it gets too dark. I need to find Dad. It's risky to walk in the desert with no lights at all. There could be snakes, scorpions, spiny cactuses. I push myself up, my arms shaking with the effort, still worn out from clinging to the wall. I lean over and look down at the ground, a few feet below. Puddles everywhere, but no longer enough water to flow. I drag my legs around and shove myself off the rock. My boots sink deep into the dark sludge like quicksand. Too deep, I'm stuck in this muck. My muscles too fatigued to pull out my boot. I grasp my leg with both hands and pull with all my strength. My boot finally breaks free with a loud sucking sound, completely soaked in sludge. I won't be walking anywhere tonight. So I climb back up on the rock. Maybe Dad didn't go too far. I cry out for him, hoping he'll hear, hoping he'll call back. I listen. Nothing. I'll have to wait here on this rock for now, just for now, until Dad returns. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.